Hello there, all you wonderful beautiful ladies and gentlemen of the internet. It is I, your boy, Hazuki Warrior 921, bringing you my very first movie review on my channel. I'm not going to make too many movie reviews. I'm not really a big movie review guy. I mostly do, game reviews and console lookovers and topic videos and stuff like that. But I do love film. I do love animation. I do love, stories on screen, I guess. So today I wanted to do my first episode. No, wait, hold on. This is not my first episode. I almost forgot. I reviewed the Sonic movie. This is my second episode. This is my second episode of movie reviews. And today I'm going to talk about my favorite movie of all time, Akira. This badass movie right here. This is the 4K release that came out not that long ago. That I picked up off Amazon, and I love this release. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous. I'm not really a big 4K guy. I love most of my movies I own are probably on Blu-ray or DVD. I only own like this and Alita Battle Angel and a couple other movies on 4K. But when you see something in 4K, if it's presented really well, when you see it like the way it's supposed to look, you can notice that it looks incredible. I love 1080p. I think that's like the best standard for like watching anything. Modern, from like 2006 to now, I guess, but like, this though, looks amazing. Or at least, with classic films, yes, 1080p looks great too, but this movie, Funimation, did a great job cleaning this movie up. And I want to talk a lot about Akira, but before I talk about the movie, I want to get into how much I love Akira in general. For example, this is not the only release of the movie I own. I own the movie 5 different times right here. And this is the only movie I own like this, because it's my favorite movie of all time. I own the original Pioneer. I think this is the 2001 Funimation dub on VHS. I think it is. I own the VHS copy, and then I own the 25th. No, wait. This is the special edition. I'm not sure which anniversary. I think this is the 20th anniversary version. But this comes, I think, with both dubs, both English, original Japanese. Dolby Surround. Yep. It comes with both English dubs, and every other release did after this one. I've seen the movie in Japanese. I've seen the movie with all 3 of its dubs, for sure. And not only do I love the movie, but I love the books, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And then here we have my 3 different Blu-ray releases plus the 4K release right here. But these 2 right here, which are basically the exact same release, except that this one is like a Steelbook Special Edition that I found at like my local used game store. I just found this like a couple years ago, and I had to pick this up. It's Akira. I had no idea that the movie had Steelbook until I saw this in person. I had no idea. And it comes with like a nice little pamphlet right here, and it's slightly different than the 4K versions ones. I think that's Akira himself right there. He is he's basically a messiah for the movie. He's kind of a good guy for the movie, kind of and kind of not. He's just a child. But it's left ambiguous to know if Akira is good or bad. But in the book, it's pretty cut clear he's not a good person. No. But we'll talk about that later. So there's just this nice little pamphlet I have right here. Shots from the movie, screenshots right there. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Oh, interview with Katsuhiro Otomo. That I need to read sometime. He's the man who created Akira, so that's important. Alright, there's that. Sorry. And then this is the version I've had for years. This is the first version of Akira I ever owned. I was 17 years old, I believe, when I got this for my birthday of 2012 or 13 when I turned 18. I was either 18, I turned 18 in 2000, wait. No, I turned 18 in 2012. I'm sorry. I for sure did. It's 2013. Yes, I did. I'm sorry. My bad, because I'm going to be 27 this year. So my birthday's in September. I turned 18 in 2012. I did, but I think I got this in 2011 when I turned 17. I think I did. Shortly before I played Sonic Generations, or I got it. I either got this movie when I was a junior or a senior. I can't remember. But this is the 25th anniversary edition, and I think Akira's 25th anniversary was in 2012. Because I think 2017 was its 30th anniversary. So I think I did get this release in 2012 when I was turning 18. I think I did. And I fell in love with this movie. it blew me out of the water. But it did more than that. It touched me inside, like my soul, and I morphed into like a different human being after seeing this movie. I changed quite a bit. I saw things very differently after I saw Akira. It really drew me in, and I was like, holy crap, for the whole movie. This movie is huge. It is larger than life. It is very adult. It is very grown up, and I don't mean that in like a very, I don't mean that in like a dirty way or like a, no, nothing like that. I mean that it's like a kind of a dark, deep movie. Like, good things happen to the characters, good things do happen, but a lot of bad, dark things happen, but it's not like too extreme. But it's pretty extreme. I wouldn't show this movie to your children. That's one thing for certain. I wouldn't watch this movie unless if you're mentally capable of handling something kind of like this movie, because it's pretty mature and grown up. If you ever seen The Matrix or a Blade Runner, and you can watch those movies just fine, I would check out Akira if you haven't yet, because this movie is incredible. I love this movie. And Blade Runner, this movie, I think Akira the series had inspiration from Blade Runner, but The Matrix and one of my favorite films as a teenager, Chronicle, had inspirations from Akira. I love Chronicle. I wish there was another movie to that, like to that movie, a sequel or like another like story or whatever. And sorry if you hear my dogs barking; they're just going nuts. So I'll tell you more about the movie in a minute, but I just want to let you know this is my first exposure to Akira. Now I'm not going to do this for every episode of my movie reviews, but for Akira, I mean, come on, it's freaking Akira. I gotta show off, you know, all my stuff. I don't know if I'll ever have a chance to do this again. Actually, I will in another video later, but, and then right here we have the story of Akira, besides the movie, the 6 novels, the books. I have not read all these yet. I'm on volume 4 right now, but I love the books. This is an incredible, well-written, deep series, and it's executed better than the movie. It's also told differently, and I'll explain what I mean by that later on. The movie is like a different story, but the characters are exactly the same pretty much. But they're deeper in the book, so the characters are deeper in the books than they are in the movie. And here we have what my fiance got for me for Christmas of 2017, the 35th. Oh, maybe I got it for the 30th. Wait. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry if that was considered unprofessional or whatever. I'm professional for YouTube. I have dogs, right? Dogs are gonna be dogs. They're barking at the dogs. I put them away. They're all right. But anyways, for right now, I'm gonna talk about this bad boy. This is probably the best Christmas present I've ever released in my entire life. I was trying to say, it says right here, 35th anniversary for 2017, which means that the Blu-ray release says 25th anniversary edition, which should be 10 years before this, would be 2007. So I don't know, maybe it was released until 2007 and I got it in 2012. Because 2012 would be another 5 years after 2007, which would be Akira's 30th anniversary. But the Blu-ray does not say 30th anniversary. It says 25th anniversary right there. And I remember my dad got me this movie. I remember, or I think he did. Somebody got me this. It was for my birthday. And I remember being in love with it. And I'm really grateful for that. He also got me Jaws and Back to the Future when I wanted to see them, and I'm very thankful for that. Those are 2 of my favorite movies also, or one of my favorite trilogies for sure, which we'll get to those movies later. But for now, I want to talk about Akira. Akira's great. I love Akira. The books are amazing. And in here, we have, the books again, which after I read the soft cover version, I'm going to read these later. It doesn't come with this bonus book that talks about the history of like Katsuhiro Otomo and Akira and everything. This book right here. It's like a bonus book for like artwork and stuff. And I would show you all this stuff, but I have a big Akira video I want to make after I read these books, which is going to be my thoughts on a live action version. Which I'm going to talk about a little bit of that right now. Is that in case if I don't get the chance to make my video before the studios start making their version of the movie, I want to say some things right now. First of all, if there's going to be a live-action Akira, it should not be an adaptation of the original movie. It should not be a direct remake of this. That is not... No, it shouldn't be. Live-action Akira should be a movie of all 6 graphic novels. And it shouldn't be 1 movie, it should be at least 3 movies. We should get a trilogy of Akira, each film maybe being 3 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours, of the novels. You can cut out some story elements if you need to, or cut out some events that happen in the books if you need to make it shorter. But please adapt these books into an Akira trilogy And please, 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 and I don't really care for this that much when it comes to adaptations. Okay, well, Alita did a really good job with this, with race casting, I guess you could call it, with like different races and whatnot for people. To me, I don't really see like. I know whitewashing is a pain in the ass. I know for like certain franchises and stuff. I know, but for Akira, for me, I don't want that to happen. It should be an all Asian cast. I'm not saying all cast members have to be Japanese, but that'd be really great if it was like that. But it should be an all Asian cast. This is a Japanese story set in a Japanese futuristic fictional city, Neo Tokyo, but it's in the name, fucking Tokyo, not California, not New York. Fucking Neo Tokyo, okay? To get the picture producers and studios and shit, if you're gonna make Akira live action, you gotta do it right. And it's gotta be a hard R with shit going on. Blood, gore, everything, violence, swearing, sex, whatever the fuck, I don't care, nudity. It's all in these stories. It needs to be in Akira. You cannot censor it. And you will have potentially one of the greatest film trilogies of all time if you do it right. Okay? Okay. Alright. I just want to get off my chest. I'm sorry, but I care about Akira a lot. Like, it's a deep series. It's well written. It's adult. It's gritty. It's good. It's larger than life. It's huge. It's got powers in it and stuff. It's not just because it's adult. It's because it's just something that people, us, can barely fathom what it's about. Like, Katsuhiro Otomo is a fucking brainiac of a genius for creating Akira. He really is. So, now, finally, we're going to talk about the movie. Okay. So, Akira the movie. Why is this movie my favorite movie of all time? And what's my other favorite movies of all time? Well, it's kind of funny because I love how much Akira is, and I love it for what it is and everything. But it's kind of funny. My other two favorite movies of all time next to this one are Spirited Away and Beauty and the Beast. They have nothing to do with what Akira is about. I know, isn't that funny? Spirited Away is it's made in Japan like Akira is. That's the only similarity. It's another animated film released in Japan, but it's a very different kind of film. So is Beauty and the Beast. They're very different kind of movies than Akira. And I'm talking about the original 1991 movie. Yes, of course I am. But my other favorite, those three films, Akira, Spirited Away, Beauty and the Beast, are all animated. My favorite film put on film with people like this video is Blade Runner. Blade Runner is my favorite movie of all time, besides Akira, and those are three films. Blade Runner 2049 are my favorite films. And yes, they're similar in terms of like what's going on, and in terms of style and feel at times, they're very similar to Akira. Yes, they are, but Akira is a very different story still. It's set in a much more harsher world than Blade Runner, I would say, for sure. There's still people on Earth, for example. No one's left the planet. There's none of that going on. People are on Earth. There's stuff going on, and I don't want to make this video a comparison of Blade Runner and Akira because I don't want to give away too many spoilers for Blade Runner. I'm not reviewing that movie today. I'm reviewing Akira. Okay, so first of all, what even is Akira? So, okay. One problem with this film that I think a lot of people who love this movie have is that it's not easy to explain a plot for Akira because stuff just happens in this movie. It's like, it will blow your mind what's going on. It's like, what the hell is going on? But at the same time, you will understand it. It's very beautiful and interesting and deep and like weird how it's like that. While you're watching this film, okay, it's gonna be, people tell you what is Akira about, you're not gonna know what to say after you see it for the first time. You're not gonna know what to say. You're gonna say, well, it's about this kid, which is Kaneda, and his friend Tetsuo, who's like his rival. He gets these powers and he hurts people and he's bad and he has to be stopped. And he turns into a giant mutant at the end of the movie, and he gets teleported to this strange land. Oh, what? Like, that's literally what happens. Or he gets teleported to another dimension. But you might not know what to say. It's like, well, it's not just about that though. It's also about these three children, and they look like old men for some reason, and they have blue skin. They also have these powers, and it's like the Force, but not really. It's like these psychic powers that they have, and they can fly and stuff. And where do they get these powers from? I don't know. It doesn't really get explained in the movies. If you want to know more about Akira, you can read the books. And now there's also something else I need to tell you, which I will tell you about this now, because I mentioned this earlier in the review, mentioned now. Comparing Akira and the books is like comparing Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy to the Batman comic books. I think what was his name? Bob Kane, I think, the guy who wrote it. It's like comparing the Bob Kane original comic books to the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, kind of, because, or even the Batman comics in general. And the reason why I say that is because in the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight films, those characters are still themselves. They're still them, except for maybe the Joker. He's different. He's unique for who he is. Heath Ledger's Joker is very unique for who he is in those films. If you've ever seen Dark Knight, which I'm sure 90% of you hopefully have seen the film, because it's a great film. And I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video. This video would definitely, I will actually put a caption up that this video is not for children, because it's about Akira, and Akira is not a family-friendly children fucking series. It's for goddamn grown-ups like me and you, probably who are 18 and older. It really is. It's like The Matrix, but like more adult than that. It's pretty much, or not really, no, it's not the same story, but you get my point. Like, The Matrix is also one of the first rated R films I ever seen. I was only 9, I saw a bit of it, and it freaked me out. But this was the first true rated R movie I watched all the way through when I turned 18 or 17, and I fell in love with it. And I did watch The Matrix all the way through shortly after that, and I've seen quite a few rated R films ever since then. I can't really think of any right now. And shortly after that, I watched Breaking Bad on Netflix. I loved it. But, you know, my world of mature content opened up even more for media, you know, for artistic media. And yeah, after I saw Akira, for sure. So, you know, I just want to throw that in there. And, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot to explain when it comes to this movie. And I want to warn you that this will have spoilers if you haven't seen it before. Kind of, because I don't want to give away too much, and this video is mostly for people who have seen Akira, who are familiar with it. But if you are somebody who wants to check this movie out, I want to make this video as easy for you as possible. I'm just hoping that you're at least a teenager, at least a little older than that, if you're watching this, because Akira is pretty grown up, and it will maybe fuck you up. I mean, it's not like a bad movie, no, far from it, but you have to have a certain kind of mind to really understand it for your first viewing. Or maybe it'll change you. Maybe it'll help you mature. Who knows? It's a very, very deep story with a lot going on at once. So, the very first thing you see in this film is that you see a city, and there's this atomic explosion that goes off. This white, giant, circular explosion. It says that what caused this explosion, it was taking place in 1989, and it starts a fictional from another universe, World War III. And then it kind of messes everything up, and then we fast forward to 2019 of Neo Tokyo. This movie, Akira was birthed in 1985 or 6, I think, or 1984 or 3. I'm not sure when it came out. But this movie I think came out in 1987. The books came out a little bit before that. And it's not really, like I said, it's like Christopher Nolan and Batman comics. People say Akira is kind of like the books, but like it's like half of the book story, but not really. And I would say, yeah, it kind of is like that, but it really is its own thing. The books, a lot more stuff happens in the books with the characters. There's a lot more different, characters have different outfits, they have different things going on, they have different character interactions, different character moments in the books. It's like a different story overall. There's different locations, different things, different dialogue. It's not quite the same as the movie. Am I saying the movie's, a bad movie? No, but they're very different. But it's kind of like a classic, like the book is better kind of statement, like situation. Like, yes, your favorite movie might be an adaptation of a book you love, but you're gonna love the book more probably. With like, I don't know, I think Jaws is a bad example. Maybe like Jurassic Park. I haven't read Jurassic Park yet. Or even like Lord of the Flies, which I haven't seen Lord of the Flies movie, but I did read the book in high school. I loved it. And maybe it's something like that. Like, yes, the show or the movie is fun and great, but the book is so much better for A, B, C, D. And this is one of those cases when that is a very true statement. Or maybe even like the Narnia Chronicles. Those are good movies, but the books, I think, are kind of better. And I don't want to compare Lord of the Rings, because those films are fucking golden, okay? The Lord of the Rings trilogy is a golden goddamn trilogy. But if Akira was made into a trilogy, I think it would totally top Lord of the Rings in terms of like how amazing of films they are. I do think so. I think Akira has the potential to top like Dark Knight, Star Wars, and Lord of the Rings. And for some of you hardcore fan film buffs out there might be like, no fucking way, what the hell are you talking about? If you've never checked out Akira, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, let me tell you right now. Like, that's how good the series is, okay? It has the potential to top Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and Dark Knight, and Back to the Future, and all those loving film trilogies that I adore. Even the Planet of the Apes trilogy, which I love the Planet of the Apes trilogy. I think Akira has the potential to be just as mature as those films, if not a level higher. it can do more. It can take more risks because it's a hardcore R-rated franchise. It's not supposed to be toned down. I do not want a goddamn PG-13 Akira movie. If that happens, I'm going to fucking punch somebody. Sorry in the face for making that decision. It's not the kind of series Akira is. I'm very passionate. I know, I'm sorry. I don't really mean that. But I'd be very pissed off if that happened. I'd be very disappointed. And that would be very tragic, too. Like, I don't think I'm the only one in that one, though. I think there's so many people out there who adore and love Akira for what it is that they cannot accept a PG-13 adaptation of Akira. That's just not the way it's going to be. No, hell no, not in this reality. I don't fucking think so. This movie has opened up the door for so many things, and no, that's just no. I don't think it's gonna happen. I really don't believe that will happen. Okay, I digress. All right. So who is this kid? He is the leader of his own bike gang. I don't remember his first name. Kaneda is his name, but I don't remember his name. I know Tetsuo's name is Tetsuo Shima. But I don't remember Kaneda's name for some. I think it's like no, it's not Atomo. That's the name of the guy who made it. Katsuhiro Otomo. Where's my phone? Let's see. I need to remember his name. I can't believe I forgot my boy's name right here. And again, he's not Akira. This kid is not Akira. For those of you who don't know what Akira is a very different character. I'll actually show you who Akira is in like 1 minute. Just hold on. Just hold on. Let me see. His name is. Let me see his name. His name is not just Kaneda. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Shotaro. Shotaro Kaneda. If I can just... Oh, well, it's not gonna... Hold on. Can you read that? There you go. Shotaro Kaneda. His name is Kaneda. No, he's just called Kaneda throughout the whole film. And he is definitely the main protagonist, but he's not your average good boy. He's kind of a fucking prick. He's a bit of a womanizer. He's a real cocky bastard. He's kind of like, I guess, like he reminds me a lot of like Sonic, but if Sonic was more of like, you know, a jerk, then he already kind of is. Like, and he swore and stuff, and he wanted to fuck every hot girl he saw. He's a 17-year-old punk. All right, he is a punk kid. He is a punk kid. He is. And he doesn't grow at all in this movie until debatably the climax. It's debatable. You don't know for sure. You kind of see it at the very end of the movie. He definitely has some kind of change. And a part of me really wishes that this movie had a part 2. It totally deserved one. I don't know why it doesn't have a sequel because it has a very mysterious, ambiguous ending. But it doesn't have a true closure, but the books do. The books do, but the movie doesn't. And it's kind of like this should have been a part 2. I don't know why there's not one. Maybe Katsuhiro Otomo just didn't want to make one. And that's okay. Yes, he directed this movie and he wrote his own series. Yes, he was very much in charge of this film. So, Akira is now what is the theme and heart and soul of Akira? Like, what is Akira really about? It's about these two boys with powers, or this kid powers? No, it's a little deeper than that. So, one of the main big things Akira is about, its heart, its soul, its theme, its like major... like, what it's about, basically. It's not just about Kaneda and Tetsuo. It's not just about two kids and what they go through in the year 2019 and the big World War III event that happened, supposedly. It's about something a bit deeper than that, quite a bit deeper than that. It's really about what would happen if a human being... I just want to because I kind of like this art more. But what would happen if a human being got the power of a god? How would that look like? How would it affect them? What would they do? How would they behave? And, like, what would that become? Like, what would result in that? And it gets kind of fucked up what happens. And that's a big thing of what Akira is about. Mostly it's about the effects of what happens to Tetsuo's body and his mental stability. It's mostly about Tetsuo. Kaneda is the protagonist. Tetsuo is the antagonist. But really, he's kind of like an Anakin Skywalker. He's just a kid in pain who's trying to go through, like, something that he doesn't fully understand. And he wants to hurt people because he's been hurting. And it's really sad and dark and tragic and fucked up. And he kills people. He does a lot of bad things. But at the end of the film, you feel really bad for him because something really bad happens to his body. He's like, I want this to stop. And it's just a really sad moment. And then he gets, like I said, this like, okay, so Akira himself is sort of, okay, I don't want to spoil it. I really don't want to spoil it. And I won't. But you have to see this film to understand what happened with Akira himself and what happens to him later on in the film. It's kind of a big deal. It's not like, oh, he dies. It's kind of the opposite of that, and you will see what I mean when you watch this movie. So I don't want to give it away at all, but Akira is kind of a beacon of light, sort of, at the end of the film. He kind of comes out as like this like Messiah character, and he helps Tetsuo. He does. And these three characters, subjects, 26, 7, and 8. I forgot what they were. Soldier 28 is Akira, but the three children, Takashi, and is like the main kid, and he's like this kid. He's like, okay, he's not the main kid, but he is the boy that's responsible for Tetsuo having his powers. He kind of gives Tetsuo like powers. He kind of does it, and the movie doesn't really tell you where these powers come from and why these children have it. But the books do for sure. But the movie kind of touches on it a little bit, but not really. You mostly see it in flashback scenes. They get experimented on and whatnot, but like, why? Why are they being experimented on? What is happening here? Why do these kids have these powers? I don't know. I'm sure the books explain a lot. Plus, there is a character who's kind of like the Master Yoda of Akira in the books that is kind of a joke character in this movie. She has, I think her name was Lady Miyaka or something. But I will show you what she looks like in this part of my video here. If you've only seen the movie, you'll probably recognize this character. She's kind of like a cult leader in the movie, and she's voiced by a man in the English dub. I think she might even be in the Japanese dub. But in the story, in the actual book, she's a very important character. In the movie, the like Yoda figure, the wise character figure is actually the female child. I think her name is Kyoko. I think so. But she's kind of like the character that's like the guiding force of to help things play out. And yeah, she's actually a really cool character and everything. I think she's kind of like that too in the books, but in the movie, that's kind of her role. And then we have kind of the love interest, the girl that Kanda has a boner for. But she's like, fuck this kid, you know. But she does hang out with it because they help each other out, fighting against like the bigger power, which isn't literally, it's not Tetsuo, it's like corrupt politicians and stuff, like trying to help Neo Tokyo out. She's a part of this resistance force. Her name is Kei. Kei is a very important character. She might be my other favorite character in this movie besides the Colonel. The Colonel is my favorite character in Akira. The Colonel and Kaneda, Tetsuo, and Kei, and even Yamagata, man, what a fucking awesome, oh my god, so sad, Yamagata. And his other friend, I forgot his name, but I love every character, but the Colonel, man, he is a badass. He is like, he takes no shit, he just goes out and kicks ass. That is his character. He doesn't die, thankfully. He's a main character in both the books and in the movie, and he is a fucking badass. I love the Colonel so much. He's like, he's seen bad shit happen before, he does not want it to repeat. That is his motive. He is there to stop what is going to come, and he does everything he can, and I love him. He's great because of that. But, anyways, I'm sorry. So, yeah, Kei is awesome. I really like her. And she has this moment in the movie that's really tragic for her and big, and it's something that you don't see common in media. She kills somebody for the first time. I'm actually going to show that scene right here, so if you want to skip ahead, I'll put a timestamp. But it really focuses on her reaction, how she feels, and you really see it. And like I said, I'm going to put it in right here. If you want to skip ahead, go ahead. I'm probably going to show you in Japanese. So here it is, right here. Okay, so that scene was really interesting to me when I first saw that. I noticed right away like what that scene was trying to do. You don't usually see that in movies or TV shows. You don't really see how a character, how they feel about killing somebody like that for the first time. You don't ever see that. It just kind of happens. They have to move on and keep killing guys because they keep coming. But no, she had like a nervous breakdown. She had a real reaction, and that is very human. That's very believable. Yes, it's dark, I know, but again, that's believable. Like, can you imagine? Like, oh my god, like killing somebody. I don't know if anyone out there ever has or not. But I'm just saying, like, that's a big deal though. Like, to anyone out, like, it's just fucked up. Like, and plus there's a scene earlier with Tetsu's girlfriend Cody when there's a rival clown gang called a rival bike gang called the Clowns, and they're awful to her. They tear her shirt off, they punch her in the face. It's terrible stuff. It really is. But like, I just remember that it's also awful. And again, that's just an example of how dark the movie is. But hey, it can happen anywhere to anybody in any fucked up area. And if it wasn't for this movie, we might possibly be living in reality similar to Akira. This movie did not exist. In fact, I feel that way about most post-apocalyptic movies like Terminator or like Blade Runner. It's like these movies, or Jurassic Park even, which isn't a post-apocalyptic story, but it's a warning message to what will happen if we do these things and what will happen. Like, if you fuck with people with god powers, if we remake dinosaurs, if we make like machines, this could potentially happen. Or if we don't treat machines with basic human respect, as sentient machines like AIs, which I believe in treating AI, artificial intelligence, with basic human respect. I do, of course I do, because of media like this, like because of Blade Runner and Detroit Become Human and blah blah blah, and Terminator, because of stories like that, like you have, like basically yes, but Terminator isn't really about that per se, but you get my point though. So yeah, Akira's great. Kazuhiro Otomo's magnum opus for sure. He also directed another animated film that I saw recently that I really, really liked, but it wasn't as good as Akira, but it was really good, interesting, and good. But it's kind of slow paced in like the first half of the film, like the first act and then the second act, and the third act it got really good. It was called Metropolis. Katsuhiro Otomo, I think he produced or directed it, but I really liked Metropolis. I might review that someday. I might, but I liked it a lot. And Akira is a fucking classic, one of the best films of all time. Go and check it out. It's badass. It's great. It takes place in its own unique world. Now, I want to talk a bit about the books really quick, because I want to show you right now. There is Tetsuo. That's what he looks like. That is the antagonist child right there. He looks all fucked up in that front cover. But this little snob right here is Akira himself. That's what he looks like. That is Akira. Now, if you're familiar with Star Wars, I keep using Star Wars references, I know. But basically, Tetsuo is like Darth Vader. Like, I mentioned he's like Anakin Skywalker. He basically is. And Akira is like Darth Sidious. No joke. He's just a child, but that's basically what's. I mean, look at him on that throne with his little suit on. Like, of course, like that's the kind of like feeling you're gonna get. He's got like, he's trying to be portrayed as like a higher power already with his presentation right there. So yeah, of course, like you gotta get that impression. Yes, he's not a good kid, but in the movie, it's not really clear if he's like that. You don't really now. It's mentioned a lot in the movie that Akira caused a bunch of bad shit. That he basically caused World War III. And people of New York, Tokyo go crazy. They believe in him as a messiah. They generally do. They're like, oh, it's Akira. Akira's back. When they see Tetsuo using his powers, they're like, oh, all hail the new messiah. All hail Akira. So people like, people of the people. There's a a group of cultists, whatever, in Tokyo that believe in that. But it's debatable, like, if Akira was a good person or not. And then you see the Colonel's reaction to like what Akira did. Well, it's kind of clear that he wasn't really a good kid at all. And at the end of the film, though, he doesn't really do anything damaging. He actually helps Tetsuo out. So it's like, if only we got a second story to this movie, it would have been really interesting to see where Tetsuo and Akira went from this movie. If they would come back to like our dimension or not. I would have loved to see that happen, but we don't have that movie. And the freaking clown bike gang and in Kanda's bike gang in the books, they team up to take down a larger force, and it does not happen in the movies or in the movie. There's no part 2. There's only one. It's a great film. It really is, but I really wish he made a second one. I really, really do. Oh well, at least we have the books, and the books are amazing. I recommend you give these a read sometime. They're really, 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 really good. Like, look at that. Look at that art style. Look at that. That's basically what the movie looks like too. But I just want to show you a page there. Hopefully you're not reading any spoilers, I don't know. But it's amazing, it's great. It really is. So I can go on and on and on about Akira. I can go on Akira for days and nights and weeks and years, but right now I can only make a 30-minute video. I don't know how long this video is. I think it's about 30 minutes. Maybe it's a little longer than that. But that's kind of all I wanted to say about Akira. I love it. I love the characters. I love the deepness of it. It really is a deep series. Not just for its story, but for its people, its world, its characters, its themes, it really, 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 really is a deep universe. When you really explore it, it really is. I think it's maybe even debatably deeper than, like I said, Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. Maybe. But like, one amazing thing about Akira is that it doesn't take place in like a fictional reality. It takes place in our reality, in a fictional version of that, but it takes place in our reality. And these characters are human beings fighting for their lives. And yes, dark, fucked up shit happens to these people, and to people who may not be that important. It's very gritty, yes. It's not 100% maybe realistic to, you know, hopefully these traumatic things that happen to these people never happen to you or anyone that you no longer care about, but they can happen. So that is something to think about when it comes to Akira. That's one thing that I really respect and admire for the series, is that yes, it's maybe it's dark, maybe it's big, but it could potentially happen if we're not too careful as human beings to each other. So anyways, guys, with that being said, this is Hazuki. We're 921 signing out. Have a good one. I also want to mention something else. Like, yes, this whole false messiah thing kind of happened in recent events for a certain higher power that happened in the States. So Akira, it's kind of scary how close to accurate it was to like reality, especially with current events. Chris Stuckman actually said something like that when I watched his review, and he's absolutely right. And he, like me, really, I can tell he really admired this film. And yes, it's my favorite movie of all time. But that's just something I'm going to throw in there. So yeah, we have to be really careful as human beings to our world, to each other, and all that good stuff. So stuff like this doesn't happen. It's a great fictional region story, yes, but scary to think about how real it can really be. It really is terrifying at the end of the day when you think about it. It's like, oh my god, I do not want Akira, to be a reality. Hell no. But I love it for what it is. It's still a great series. Not only is it enjoyable in terms of action and like just to be entertained, but it gives you food for thought. Like 90% of the story is like food for thought. But like, it's not annoying though. It's kind of like if you play Metal Gear Solid. It's like, it's exactly kind of like that. Like, it's like, oh my god. But not, you know, not as much like dialogue though. But it's like, it shows you what it's like about. With dialogue, more so. But like, it really makes you think. Like MGS, it makes you think. Like, there's action, it's awesome, but there's also room to kind of think about like what the hell's really going on here. It's not pointless. There's a point to it, and you understand. So sorry, that's my review for real. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Looking forward to making another video about Akira one day, hopefully before a live action version gets announced. I heard their ideas before for one, and I was like, no. Like, they wanted to make like kind of a bartender for his own bar. He was supposed to be like a full-grown adult, and that right there is like, no, hell no. A part of like what makes these characters so great is how young they are. You know, for the fact that they're just children going through this shit speaks volumes to like how deep and dark Akira can really be. Like, I don't think they should ever. I don't think there's anything they should change from the original story into live action adaptation, except for just obviously it's just live action. If you have the time, look up the Akira project. It's a fan made live action like movie trailer to the books, not to the movie, to the books. And it's genius. I love it. I don't know if they're gonna do any more, but that's what we should have for an Akira movie. Exactly what they were doing. So for a live action adaptation, that's exactly what we should have for an Akira live action story, without a moment's doubt. Now, it's debatable. Should it be a TV show or should it be a movie? I think it should be a film trilogy. I really, really, really do. Maybe even maybe 4 movies, 5 or 6, but at least a trilogy, in my opinion. And I think they can do it between like 3 different films, either 3, 2 to 2.5 to 3 hour movies. Yeah, I know it's a lot, but like it really requires it for this story. So I'm sorry. Like I said, I could go on and on. I really should end it here. So with that being said, have a good one. Take care. Peace out. Please check out Akira if you haven't. I recommend it. It doesn't matter if you start with the movie first or the books first. You're gonna have a great time. I started with the movie first. I loved it. I'm actually glad I did because the books are so much better. I'm kind of happy I started with the movie first. I still love the movie's great. I love the movie. It's a great movie. But then I didn't expect how much I would love the books after I saw the film. I really do love them. They're really, really good. So, and I already loved the movie going into reading the books. So that was a bonus. So, just saying, guys. If you, I don't know, it's up to you where you want to start with the story. You can start anywhere. But look forward to my next episode, which might be released a whole year from now, like this one was. No, I'm kidding. I want to do Spirited Away next, maybe, or Beauty and the Beast. I love those movies. I do. Or Blade Runner, even. I might do Blade Runner. Or Star Wars, or Planet of the Apes, or yada, 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 yada. There's a lot of movies I love that I want to talk about. But or even Terminator, maybe. But yeah, that's it. So, bye-bye. Peace out. Have a good one. Just kidding. I want to show this off really quick. This is the Akira vinyl record soundtrack. So this is the last piece of merchandise I own when it comes to Akira. So amazing stuff. I don't want to show this off too much because I'm sure there's like a whole video going through like what it comes with its discs and everything. But that right there is Neo Tokyo. That's like one of the first things you'll see when you watch the film. Oh wait, I forgot to. Oh my God, how can I forget about this? The animation. That's right. I am so sorry for tricking you guys and thinking the video was done. I'm so sorry for doing that. But the animation in Akira revolutionized animation in general, especially in the East and over. It's north, south. Wait, north, east. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know which way is right, left, with the way you're watching it. I think East would be this way for you guys. I don't know. Anyways, especially over in the East, it revolutionized animation. It did. I will try to show clips from the movie throughout this review, so you people already know how smooth this movie looks. And especially if you watch the freaking movie in 4K, man. Oh my God, it looks a million times better with its animation. It really does. Like, some scenes are upscaled to 60 frames per second on a 4K TV Blu-ray player. Really, like, well, it's like that with like most Funimation products, or most like Japanese animation, or most animation does that. Like, I don't know. My point is that the movie is definitely upscaled at times. So please watch this version if you have a 4K. If you don't have 4K, that's okay. If you have a Blu-ray player, which I hope you do, get this version. It's really not that big of a difference between these two. It's not too big, but it's there and it is noticeable at times. And when you notice it, it's pretty impressive. But this is still a really good version, in my opinion. So I forgot to mention that Akira really helped revolutionize anime. So if you love anime, if you're a big anime fan, if you love anime so much, if you've seen like Sword Art Online or like Attack on Titan or Dr. Griffith, fuck the anime is called, or like what's it called? Demon Slayer or Dragon Ball, One Piece, Yu Yu Hakusho. If you watch a ton of anime, okay, that you love, okay, whatever it is, you owe it all. You owe it all to Akira. You honestly fucking do. I owe my love for Dragon Ball and One Piece and Trigun to Akira. That is a goddamn fucking fact, not an opinion. I swear to God, you owe this movie so much if you love anime. I'm just saying. Watch it. For God's sakes. Have a good one. Peace out. Take care. Long live Akira. Honestly to God. Alright, folks. I'm just cleaning up all this stuff right now. I just want to make some final words at the end of the video. I just want to say that I'm a little sorry for getting like a little passion at the end there. A little bit sorry about that, because for one, I'm not trying to like make anyone feel uncomfortable by what I'm saying about Akira or like trying to step on anyone's toes. Listen, look. If you're a fan of those other series, that's totally okay. I like those series too. Like, I'm not saying, except for this other anime I list, but there's nothing wrong with what you like. Okay, if to you is what your absolute favorite thing is, what your absolute favorite thing is, that's fine. But I'm not wrong. Like, I'm not trying to be like, you know, what you like sucks. Akira is the best. That's not it. No. What I'm trying to do is trying to get to understand how important this franchise is and why you should check it out, or the story is, I should say, and why it deserves like respect and attention and yada yada yada. And it honestly does. That's what my point was trying to be that exactly. So, I'm not, if you're like, oh man, but I really like Star Wars, or something, that's how you feel about like what I was saying, just understand, like, I like it too. I'm not trying to say that you're wrong for liking what you like, or it's inferior. Okay, maybe it is, maybe it's debatably inferior compared to Akira, but it doesn't mean it's a bad series. No, far from it. Like I mentioned earlier, the movie is inferior to the comics, but the movie's still amazing. I love the movie, but sorry for these weird face camera shots I'm doing. I'm putting away the books right now while I'm doing this. So again, guys, I'm not trying to like make anyone feel upset by what I say. I'm just trying to educate you into why you should check out Akira if you haven't yet. That's basically the whole point of this video. So sorry, I know I'm really overstaying my welcome. Oh my God, the footage is about to run out. So okay, that's it. Bye. Have a good one for real this time. Check out Akira. Best movie ever, in my opinion. Which there truly is no best movie ever. I love Akira so much. So check it out. All right, bye-bye now.